Hey everyone, and welcome to this Dota 2 guide on positioning. I'm Defied from Gamers Class, but I'm also over on YouTube with some more basic guides if you want to take a look at them later, but today I thought I would go through an important concept. As I said before, that is positioning, which is very important and can often mean the difference between life and death. It's probably one of the tougher concepts to properly implement in your games because there is just so much going on sometimes, but if you think about this all the time while playing, you'll definitely get better and see a rise in your MMR.
If you like this kind of content, go to gamersguys.com. For just $10 a month, get your replays analyzed, watch masterclasses with pro players, join weekly coaching sessions, win prizes, and more with our Supreme Dota 2 membership.
First of all, what is positioning? Well, basically, positioning is the location of your hero on the map. Good positioning arises from having good map awareness and putting yourself in a position which makes it difficult for the enemy to kill you, but still allows you to be useful if a fight breaks out. Having good positioning will help you live longer, survive through ganks and teamfights, and can even help you turn the tides on the enemy, allowing you to catch them out if they get out of position. I think a lot of us can relate to this, as it is very easy to dive enemies too far and then end up dying as you're out of position. I think most of us probably already understand this, but there are a few factors involved here that you need to be thinking about constantly. So how should you be thinking when you are positioning yourself on the map? Well, let's start off with the laning stage. So while laning, core heroes generally want to be farming, while the support heroes want to enable their cores to get as much safe farm as possible. If the lane has kill potential, then they might also look for opportunities to get you low and kill you. Generally, any lane with burst damage, reasonable attack damage, slows and stuns have quite high kill potential, and if going up against this kind of lane, you need to be aware of it and position yourself to avoid being killed. So to do this, you'll want to look at the enemy heroes in your lane and just work out how they might want to kill you. Now, I downloaded this replay off the Dota 2 replay archive, and basically I just want to use this one as an example. But just looking at this bottom lane here, we've got a PA Ogre safe lane versus a tiny Witch Doctor off lane. Now, PA Ogre is not too bad of a lane. They have some kill potential with their slows and auto attacks, especially since Tiny and Witch Doctor both don't have much armor. As you can see here, Tiny has 2, Witch Doctor has 2, where PA has, well, Ogre has 7, PA has 5 plus 3 because of the tower there. But basically the Tiny and Witch Doctor, well, they need to be careful of the slows that come out from the Ogre and the PA. They'll be able to capitalize off the Ignite and the Dagger slow and just deal right click damage to them. On the other side though, Tiny and Witch Doctor, they've got a lot of stuns, high burst damage, and obviously with Witch Doctor's Maledict, they can compound on top of the damage they already deal. So we've identified how these enemies might try for a kill, but you still need to be looking to avoid getting into a position where you might be killed off. So on the PA Ogre side, you just need to be careful of getting too close to the Tiny or the Witch Doctor. Basically, the Tiny, he's got a stun, the Witch Doctor's got a stun, Tiny's also got toss, and that, they're relatively close range abilities. Maledict, can't see the range there, but it's not too far. Basically, he'll get his, if he stuns the PA from full range, if the PA can run away, he's probably okay, but if he's too close, he'll definitely get the Maledict off, and the Tiny will probably also get his stun off, which will cause a lot of problems for the PA and also the Ogre. Actually, if you're the Tiny and the Witch Doctor, you probably just want to be careful of being separated from each other. Tiny, you've both got pretty low armor. If the Ogre and the PA go on one of you, when the other one can't really help you out, you're probably in quite a lot of danger. But the PA, let me just speed this up a little bit. So it's not really going to damage you too much, but basically if the PA and the Ogre can jump on one of you, you're going to be in a lot of trouble if you're not in range to help each other. If you are together, basically if this PA initiates on one of you, you can just stun her and run away, and she's not going to be too much of a threat. Now, to avoid dying, you can basically just put yourself in a position where if the enemy does try to kill you, they'll be putting themselves at risk. So we can see it here in this replay. Obviously the PA gets a quick level 2 and they can't really stop or deal enough damage to the PA to make it a problem, but we can see here that the ogre tries to harass this tiny down and put him in a position where if he does try to go on the PA, they'll be able to kill him off. The problem here is that they've got so much burst damage that they can basically just turn the fight, and he's still got a healing salve here, so you can see that they try to do this. They try to put them in a position where they don't have enough health to fight, but you can see it almost works out here, but the PA goes on here and instantly gets burst down from full health to 0. So the problem is that they just don't have the best lane here, and definitely the Witch Doctor and Tiny have a better lane in that regard here, I think. Now, if the enemy lane does have a lot of kill potential, another thing you can do is just to try and split yourself from your laning partner. So if they do commit to go for a kill, only one of you will die, and hopefully it's the support and not the core hero. The idea here is just to play slightly apart from each other, and often you'll see the core hero going for last hits in the lane while the support hero is off to the side somewhere. I think this happens in this lane a little bit. So obviously the Grim's trying to pull, and you can see she'll come back to the lane and try and... They don't have a lot of kill potential on the Radiant side here, but they do try to play apart a little bit. There is quite a bit of harass that can come out from the wave and auto attacks on this side. But basically they'll try and play apart from each other, so if one of them gets initiated on, only one of them will die. And that's something you can do in your games as well, I think. Alright, so after the laning stage, things get a little bit different, as obviously you no longer have to think about just the lane matchups, but the entire team now, so the entire enemy team. So it's often quite hard to work out positioning in mid to late game, but I find that it's a lot easier to work this out by just putting yourself in the enemy's shoes. So basically what you want to do here is look at the game, So basically what you want to do here is imagine you're on the enemy team and ask yourself what you would be trying to do right now. So if we take a look at this game that we were looking at earlier, I've just gone into the dire fog here. So we've got the dire side, we're trying to push the top tower, and we've just seen, I'll go back a little bit so you can see it happen too, but we can see that, well, go back a little bit more. So we're going to try push this top tower, and we've got a little bit of information. We can see the Vengeful Spirit here, the Mirana's trying to take this, and the Magnus was just here pushing out the bottom lane. So it should be okay for us to push this tower. Now, we've still got this ward up. We can see the Vengeful Spirit here, and the Tiny's going to try and initiate on this Venge to get a pick off, which will really help them push this tower down. But now we can see a bit more information coming in from the dire side. We can see that the Magnus is teleported in, the Mirana's now TPing in, and this Tiny's well out of position here, so he's got to try and get himself out, and we'll see him do that. Magnus tries to catch him. He's pretty lucky to be out here, and we can see the Radiant side starting to really push up and become a threat for us, because we want to back off here. We can see the PA is here as well when she hits that creep. They might not have seen that, but anyway, now we'll see that the Radiant side go for a smoke. So basically we know that 2 heroes have teleported in here. It's going to be expensive for them to try and walk back bot or to their jungle or whatever to try and get the farm, because they've already committed to this side of the map. So putting ourselves in the enemy's shoes, we want to try and back ourselves away now. The enemies, well, they've smoked up they're going to want to chase us down and fight us and get a pick off if they can. So the best thing for us to do is just back away. If you look at the Void Spirit here, he knows this, he's going to back away. He puts down a Remnant as well, just to stop or slow anyone who might be chasing him. And he'll safely get out, as does the rest of the team. The Slack, he's running down bot because he knows that no one's down there, and he's going to be a pain for the Radiant side, and he's going to take back this outpost. But the positioning here from the Dire side and the map awareness from them is very good. They've managed to keep themselves safe, and that's pretty important. You don't want to get picked off here. Now, one thing I didn't mention before was basically you want to ask yourself how you might die in any one scenario. So if we go back a little bit to when they were running away, we know this Void Spirit. If we were Void Spirit, we've got no BKB, so the enemy team also has quite a lot of lockdown. They've got stuns from the Ogre, the Venge. We can probably dodge the Venge, but probably not the Ogre. We'll probably dodge the Morana's stun, but if you get stunned on Void Spirit, you're going to die. So he's going to be wanting to think, how can he avoid being stunned? So for him, he's got no BKB, he's got no Lincoln Sphere, he's got really nothing to stop an instant stun. So he's got to basically avoid getting chain stunned, and just here backing away is the safest option, as I mentioned before. But if you do ask yourself how you could die, you'll definitely realize when you're in danger and help yourself get into a better position if you're in a bad one. Alright, now the last thing I want to talk about here is team fights. Now, team fights can break out pretty much at any moment, and often are the result of one or two heroes getting jumped by a bunch of other heroes on the other team. Yeah, I think what happened was the PA. Let's go back a little bit. PA tried to jump someone, so they've smoked. We just hear that. The Dire side doesn't know that. But basically, let's put on both teams. So the PA, they're trying to take Roche. It gets scattered out by the Dire side here, and they try and. The Void tries to jump them and stop them from rushing. Now, I want to look at the Witch Doctor in this team fight because I think his positioning is quite good. We can see the PA trying to jump up here. He's going to initiate on the Tiny. And Witch Doctor, he's playing quite far back. He knows that he's a squishy hero, and his job is basically to, he's got a heal, which is good. So he's going to be using that a little bit, but his job is to get off his Paralyzing Cask and his Maledict and the Death Ward from a safe position. So this fight breaks out. It's I think one or two heroes die here and they buy back. It's not too much of a deal. So yep, the Void buys back. That's a pretty good kill. But he instantly buys back, and they just try and disengage for now. So initially, you can see the Witch Doctor's playing quite defensive. He's pushing up a little bit here because he knows his Tiny is sort of out of position, could be jumped on, and he needs to try and help. Also, the rest of his team's going in, so he's got to do that. But he's a squishy hero. He knows that PA can drop him very quickly if he gets chain stunned. But he does have a Ghost Scepter to stop this a little bit, so that's good itemization on his part. But here we can see they go and try and take the Roche. The Radiant side, they've got to do something. They can't just let the Roche go for free. They've got good vision here on the low ground. We can see the Ogre goes in. He's kind of out of position here. He's not really got that much backup. His team's positioned around the place. Venge just brought back, so she's still running in, and he basically just gets blown up. He'll bite back as well. Now, Witch Doctor, he's still at the back. He's not pushing up. He's not, getting quite out of position. He knows that he can die really easily, so he's going to stay back there. Magnus jumps in to initiate, and the Witch gets his stun off, luckily. Now, PA is moving towards the Witch. Witch is not quite at the back anymore. He's sort of in the middle of the fight. And we can see the PA takes the opportunity, jumps the witch straight away. But she's already used her BKB, it's on cooldown. And I think the witch, you can already see, is at half health. But he gets pretty lucky here. The paralyzing cask that he threw earlier jumps to the Roshan, which jumps to the PA. And the PA is well out of position now. The Venge not quite in a position to save him, and the Witch Doctor basically can get off all his abilities. He'll cast his Death Ward, and the PA will die there, and he'll basically clean up the Marana as well. So I think in that fight, this Witch had really good positioning. He wasn't really at risk of dying. There was no chance that he could get chain stunned at any point. And that's what you want to do in your fights. You want to try and stay, if you're the Witch Doctor or you're a support hero, you want to try and stay at the back of the fight, cast your spells, get your damage off, save your teammates when you need to. Obviously, you've got a different job to what the core hero might want to do though. Let's actually go back and have a look at what Slark's doing in this fight. So Slark, he's the damage dealer. He wants to kill Roshan, but also he wants to try and deal damage to the enemies, but also try and be in a safe position doing so. He's used his ult. He hasn't got a BKB, but he is probably one of their primary damage dealers, and you can see him turning to fight this ogre when he's out of position. He's not even needed, but let's watch this Slark. So he gets jumped on. Luckily, he's got no RP, and he's jumped to the Magnus. But instead of fighting the Magnus, he turns to fight the PA. He knows that the PA is out of position, and his job, he's got the MKB. He's going to deal damage to this PA and kill her off before she can do anything. So he kills her off. Then he turns. He sees the Roshan's low, he takes the Roshan quickly, and now he's just looking to clean up. He's seen this ogre, he's seen the Venge, and he's just in damage control now. He's just killing them off. So you've got to take into account what job you're doing. So if you're the core hero and you need to do damage, or maybe you're the off-lane core hero and you need to be the tanky frontliner, you just need to take into account what hero you're playing, what your job is in a team fight, and then do that job. Position yourself based on that, on what you need to do. So in that whole fight, we saw the Slark was not overextending at any point. He was just trying to safely take the Roshan. He gets initiated on, and he sees that I've got cheese there. He sees that the PA is out of position, so immediately he turns his attention from the Magnus to this PA, kills her off, while the rest of his teammates move forward to help protect the back line and obviously initiate on those in that fight. And then he just chases down anyone who's running away, basically, because once the PA dies, you've not got much really left on the Radiant side there. So that's pretty much it for this one. I hope you learned a bit from this and can get an idea on how to better position yourself so that you can basically not die as much and win more games. Once again, I'm Defied from Gamers Class. I'm also over on YouTube at youtube.com/Defied. If you want to check me out over there, but just want to say thanks for watching and have a great day.